And welcome back to Racing Rundown. This is the final piece of Breeders' Cup content that we're going to be doing this week. I am probably editing this in the airport in Chicago on my way to the Breeders' Cup. But that's how this week is going. And to round out Breeders' Cup coverage, I've been hanging around WRHU office all week talking about the Breeders' Cup. And we were shooting the breeze in the office, and I decided to pass around the Breeders' Cup entry paper that I had. And so we're going to do a little fun segment here on Racing Rundown with one of my friends from the office who has absolutely no horse racing knowledge at all. And we're going to do the competition to see whether or not he does better than the folks team who's put together the Breeders' Cup content, who spent hours and hours doing this stuff. And we're going to see if the guy who looked at it and picked based on names is going to do better than us. So I'd like to welcome my friend Ronnie Gonzalez to Racing Rundown. Good.
Thank you for having me. Very much excited to get into it. Like you said, I have no knowledge of horses and horse racing whatsoever. So let's see how I do.
So we're going to go through all 14 of the races, and we're going to do them in chronological order. So we'll move on to the first race, the Juvenile Turf Sprint. For the record, I am on number 6 Persian Force in this race. Eric is on Love Reigns, and these are the 2-year-olds going 5.5 furlongs on the turf at Keeneland. And this is one of the races that I spent the most time with. So, Ronnie, who'd you end up on in this race?
Mischief Magic. Absolutely incredible name. So that's the only thing that determined my pick, because, like I said, I have no idea what I am talking about.
And how you feel about Mischief Magic?
Well, I think it's gonna cause some mischief. Hopefully that turns into a win, so I can have that under my belt. But yeah,
So now we're going to move on to the Juvenile Fillies, which I know that if you pick the winner in this race, Eric and I are probably going to be the most laughing about this, because this is the most difficult race on the entire card. I spent hours on it. I think Eric spent 3 hours total on this race. And flip-flop between just about every horse in the race. So for the record, Eric is on Wonder Wheel, who actually on WRHU, we talked to her trainer, Mark Cassie. So a little shameless plug for that there. I'm on number 3, and Tell Me No Lies. And Ronnie, you are on
You're My Girl, number 2. And if he does get a win, she's my girl. I get that one under my belt. I'm very, very much excited about this one. You know what? Doing this with you, it has really sparked my interest into this entire sport. It's a beautiful sport, but I'm having a little bit too much fun picking horses simply by name. So yeah, we're going with number 2, You're My Girl.
So now we'll move on to once again the 2-year-old fillies, but this time we're moving over to the turf. This race, for the record, going a mile on the turf course at Keeneland. I was on number 3, Last Call, and Eric was on the number 7, Spirit Gal. So Ronnie, your call in this race.
I'm a little deep into the list, but I'm going Basil Martini. That name sounds incredible, and it sounds like a pretty nice drink, pretty smooth drink. So hopefully, take out a nice smooth win, at least a podium finish. That's what we're going for. But yeah, that's my pick, number 14. Basil Martini.
Get a smooth run in there and wash it down with a nice martini afterwards.
Exactly, and this is a nice martini just to celebrate the win. That's what we want.
So now we're moving on to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, the first race for the 2-year-old colts on the dirt, future Kentucky Derby prospects in this race. Both Eric and I and most of everybody else is on the heavy favorite Cave Rock in this race. Ronnie, your call.
Number 9, Curly Jack. Sounds like an issue on the track, and hopefully pulls out the win. So number 9, Curly Jack, 100%.
Number 9, Curly Jack. We'll move on now to the final race on Friday. That is the Juvenile Turf going a mile. Same conditions as the filly race on the grass. And Eric and I, once again, we're on the same horse in here. Number 2, Pax a Wallop. And who are you on?
Number 5, Battle of Normandy. With a name like Battle of Normandy, there's no way that you don't come out with fire and take a win. I have to go with it. The name alone speaks volumes.
And we'll move on now to, actually, there is one more race. Scratch that. I didn't put it on the sheet that I handed Ronnie earlier. So we'll move on now to the first race of Saturday, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint. These are some fast horses that are going to be going 7 furlongs at Keeneland, fillies and mares. And I was on number 7, Obligatory, in this race. Eric was on number 6, Chain of Love. And Ronnie is going to be going with
Number 3, Chi-Town Lady. With a name like that, she's an elegant gal, and she's gonna pull out a pretty nice win. I'm calling it right now. Chi-Town Lady is gonna take it.
And when she wins, are you going to have a chai to go along and celebrate with it?
I'm heading down to Chi-Town myself and celebrating. Are you crazy? I'm having a grand old time.
Another sprint race, this time on the grass. We're going to the turf sprint, 5.5 furlongs once again. Eric and I were on Golden Pal, the winner of this race last year. Ronnie is going to be on
Number 7, Arrest Me Red. And arrest this race, pack it, and deliver it, taking the win right here, right now. I'm saying it.
And next race, moving on to the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I was on Cyberknife in this race. Eric was on Cyberknife with me as well. And Ronnie is on
I'm going 3 technique. 3 technique. You got 3 techniques. If one of those doesn't help and take the win, I'm going to be a little disappointed. But yeah, number 11, 3 technique. I'm calling it right here, right now.
Moving on to the Filly and Mare Turf. This was the race where I went to Nashua, the French Oaks winner. We had Holly Doyle on the WRHU special to talk about her filly in this race. Eric was on number 9, Rougier, and Ronnie is on.
I'm going with, let me see here, going to Vegas, number 2. Going to Vegas, going to win. That's what I'm saying here.
And you're going to win so much money, and then after you win all that money, you're going to go to Vegas and win even more money.
Exactly. Going to Vegas wins. We take the money. All of us, nice little trip going to Vegas.
And we're going to move on now to race number 7, the Breeders' Cup Sprint, 6 furlongs this time. I was on the big favorite, Jackie's Warrior, in this race. Eric was on number 11, Flash of Mischief. Matt, who did this race for us on YouTube for Racing Rundown, was also on Jackie's Warrior. Ronnie's on
number 3, Obesos, and they're going to be blowing you, Obeso, when he crosses the finish line. Taking it. I'm saying it.
And moving on now to the Breeders' Cup Mile, the toughest race for me personally to preview because I liked most of the horses in here in this race, but ultimately went to the Juvenile Turf winner from last year, Modern Games. Eric went to Domestic Spending in here, and Ronnie's pick is going to be
number 5, Smooth Like Straight. We were talking about Basil Martini with a nice smooth run. It's Smooth Like Straight. You take it nice and straight, real class, and this horse right here, number 5, taking the win.
All right, we'll move on now to the Breeders' Cup Distaff. The Queen is running in this race. Malathot, Eric and I contractually obligated to go with her in this race. Ronnie is not contractually obligated to pick any horse in this race. So who are you going with?
Awake at Midnight. I, for one, am constantly burning the midnight oil. So Awake at Midnight is speaking to me in the way I want to hear. So I'm saying number 5 is taking it.
A very appropriate name for anybody who is at WRHU, Awake at Midnight. We'll move on now to the penultimate race, the Breeders' Cup Turf. I was on the mare in this race, Warlike Goddess, as was Eric. Ronnie is going to be going with
Rebels Romance, number 5. I mean, come on, with a name like Rebels Romance, she's speaking to me. All right, I'm feeling it. It's a romantic horse for a romantic story of an incredible win.
And he is the favorite right now in this race. So knowing that you're on the favorite, how does that make you feel? You must feel even more confident with that.
Absolutely, even more confident. I have nothing riding on any of these horses except bragging rights, and I intended to take full advantage of it if any of these win.
And the final horse or the final race, I should say, that we're going to is the Breeders' Cup Classic. If this doesn't go our way, then this will be a very pathetic showing. But Flightline, for Eric, for me, for Matt, for everybody else who looked at this race, probably didn't look at it for too long. But Flightline, Ronnie, you going with someone else in this race?
Number 2, Life is Good. What can I say? Life is good, and it will be even better when this horse takes the win. Come on now, like Life, it's just a good time, and I'm having a good time doing this right now. So,
and with that being said, that's it for the picks. I'll just ask you, besides from your top selections, any other names out there that you really feel were speaking to you, but not as much as some of the other ones that you went to?
Let's see. Juvenile Turf Sprint, number 8, American Apple. Great name. It's classic. It's a staple. It talks to all the patriots out there. American Apple, warm American apple pie. Come on now, like you can't pass it up. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, let's see, Mischief Magic was just talking to me a little bit more. Let's see, Juvenile Phillies. I gotta say, You're My Girl just took it. It ran away with it. If the race was based solely on names, I think You're My Girl wins. Here, I mean, Shoplifter. That's a pretty solid name for for
Yeah,
a horse.
our friend Cassandra, who's not here with us, she picked shoplifter. So
Shoplifter's a good name. I mean, come on, they steals the win. Nobody's expecting it. You know, a little come from behind win. It would be pretty fitting. But yeah, you know, other than that, I think the names I chose, I'm very very confident in those. We'll just have to see.
I mean, you should be confident because even though you picked names, you did pick some really live horses.
So I've heard. Yeah.
As always, this was fun to do. Again, we were just kind of screwing around in the office this week. And actually, just as we were about to finish this up, the other people who were in the office with us making picks just did walk into the room. So we'll introduce now Cassandra, who we referenced earlier. And actually, I forget which episode it was, but she picked my horses on Racing Rundown one week. Didn't go well with that, but we don't need to bring that up. And then...
All right, listen.
Great job, Cass.
Listen.
And then Ethan over here, who also made picks. So we'll go back to the top, the juvenile turf sprint, I should say. And Cass, who'd you go with in this race?
Dramatized, but I think that's how you pronounce it.
Dramatized.
Dram-
Like I said, zero knowledge of this sport. But that's the point of this.
I really liked the name.
The
So-
name really spoke to you.
You don't say.
Well, I can't really pronounce the name, but I liked the name.
Well, the name's British, so it's said in the British way anyway. So if we were going to, if we were being official, we would say dramatized.
Dramatized.
At least that's how they say it. At least that's how they say it
Why
over
did
there.
you turn into like someone from Georgia? Dramatized.
I don't know.
Okay, you're up now, Ethan.
I had selected Lady Hollywood. I feel that she will be the winner of this race, and I'm always correct. So this is my logic.
All right.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, we'll see how that works out. Next, we'll move on now to the next race, the 2-year-old fillies and the juvenile fillies. And Cassandra, you're up now.
I chose Shoplifter. I liked the name. It really spoke to me.
reason why?
No, I've never shoplifted. I just like the name. So I chose them.
I disagree with that pick because shoplifting's wrong, Cass. Come on, let's be a good people. I went with Wonder Wheel because I thought it sounded like Wonder Wall. Wonder Wheel. Sorry, I had
Oh
to.
my god.
Why?
Like, you know, like Wonder Wall? Like the
I
song?
know this song.
So for the reference, You're My Girl, Wonder Wheel, and Shoplifter were the three selections from the group in this race. We'll move on now to the next race, the juvenile fillies turf, and Flora's Cass's now.
Okay, so I didn't realize that the people under the line weren't racing. So I originally chose Bling. Pretty self-explanatory.
And
I
that
like Bling.
I will say, and that will go if Bling somehow draws into the race. If somebody pulls out between now and tomorrow, then that horse will be Cass's pick. But it doesn't look like at this moment that someone's going to pull out.
And then my second choice was Pleasant Passage.
Pleasant Passage. Okay.
It sounded nice. Oh, fuck. Sorry.
God, amateur hour. Well, in that similar vein, I went with Spirit Gal. Because the name was like weird. So I don't know. That was my logic.
And we'll move on now to the next race, the juvenile. This is the 2-year-old guys race, and back to Cass for her selection in this race.
Who did I? Curly Jack. I just liked the
Because
name.
that's Jack and it was curly.
Exactly.
Okay, there you go.
Exactly.
I mean, for the
That
record,
was-
I did.
That
choose
was
the, same
the
horse.
logic.
So we have two with Curly Jacks, and
I went with Blazing Sevens because Blazing Saddles and saddles, horse. Yeah,
You are
puns.
hilarious.
Ah.
You are just so funny.
I am the funniest man alive. Yeah. And so. Wait.
and now moving on to the final race moving back to the final race of Friday, the juvenile turf, and back to Cass.
Mustache. I thought it was clever.
Mo
Mustache.
stashes, and you're gonna stash the money that you.
Exactly. That's the plan.
Oh my lord, you nerds! I went with Gaslight Dancer.
That was a good one.
So yeah, that
was a
sounds like
good
a
one.
club name. That was kind of my logic there. I hope it will gaslight the opponent into losing, and I shall win.
And moving to Saturday, filly and mare sprint, and we'll go back to Cass again.
Slammed.
Wow! All right.
Point
That was
blank
a
period
quick
slam.
one. I went with the
Slam.
Chi-Town Lady.
Chi-Town lady.
Chi-
Chi-Town
'Cause
lady.
I'm from Illinois and I'm from outside Chicago, so Chi-Town Lady. I wonder if they are from Chi-Town. That would be a very interesting.
I don't think they are. Last time I
Well,
checked,
then why name your horse Chi-Town Lady?
Why name it Slam?
last time I checked,
Because you
Wesley
got
Ward
slammed.
wasn't from Chicago, but I don't know. Maybe there is some.
I mean,
there is some
let's-
Chi-Town.
Ethan, to be fair, we're betting on the same horse here.
We are.
Yes,
Yeah,
Chi-
Ethan
Chi-Town
and
lady.
Ronnie have the same horse in
Chi-Town
here. so-
lady. She's my lady, and she's winning.
And back to Cass for number 4 on Saturday, the turf sprint.
Highfield Princess, because I'm a princess.
I knew it was coming. I didn't have to finish. I didn't even need her to finish. I knew it was coming.
Oh, I went with navel crown. I thought of it like a belly button ring, like the navel.
Okay.
And back to Cass for race number 5, the dirt mile.
Simplification. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's
I'm really
simplifica-
dumb.
yeah,
I am so
simplification.
dumb. I can't read and pronounce stuff.
No,
yeah,
you're
it's the
fine.
simple things in life. That's why I chose it.
I went with slow down Andy because I was like, I thought of it in like some like old man's voice, being like, "Slow down, Andy." Like a horse. Yeah, very very nerdy pick on that one, but yeah, horses.
And back to more horses for race number 6, the filly and mare sprint. Or I'm sorry, the filly and mare turf.
Virginia Joy, because I love Virginia men.
L.
You love Virginia men, but
sorry.
you love Virginia men, but you do realize that's a girl horse.
It's okay.
I
okay.
What
went
if that
with-
girl horse also loves Virginia,
Virginia
men?
men.
That's why they. It's speaking to Cass.
I'll
on
let
more
you. I'll
levels
let
than
you
one.
know when they breed her to horse from Virginia.
Okay.
I went with Moira because it's a character in
I
a
knew
video
exactly
game.
why you went with Moira.
It's a character in the video game Overwatch.
I thought about
That is
Moira
the
too.
sole reason I went with that.
I don't actually know if Moira's named after the video game character or not. It's actually not out of the question that happened. We'll move on now back to Cass for race number 7, the sprint.
Aloha West. I think it's something that Kim Kardashian should have named one of her kids.
For the reference, Aloha West won this race last year, so looking for
Fuck yeah! Run it back! Round 2! Let's go!
Run it
Let's
back!
go!
Run it back!
Let's go!
And Ethan, you're up now.
I went with Manny Wah because it sounds like a kid I went to middle school with.
Why are your choices so specific?
Because I analyzed this document to make sure I was picking the proper horse for each equation.
Don't want to interrupt your pod. Is it live?
This is going on Racing Rundown, so
Oh.
We're talking horses, Rachel, and none of us, with the exception of Jack, have any knowledge of horses.
Talking horses.
Talking horses.
talking horses,
Talking horses,
without the
horses
G.
without the G.
No, like, you know, like Rocking Horse Ranch, like, and that's rocking without the G.
Everything without the G. Breeders' Cup without the P.
Eliminate from the alphabet. Only 25 left.
Yeah.
That's PC3.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
I wanna see
super
PC4. I
Pagano
have to, like,
sentence.
Yeah.
route shit.
Horses without the G.
Horsing without the G. Moving on back to Cass for race number 8, the mile, and yes, you pronounce her name Malavath.
Malavath. Okay, so
I'm a genius.
I am a big Vampire Diaries and the originals and Legacies fan. And the monster in whatever it's called was Malivore. So I went with it.
Nerd.
You're the one who's saying all these puns.
give me. What did I choose here? Oh, Annapolis, because that's a city in Maryland.
Wow.
Given your other picks, that's a very simple
It's a
one.
pretty solid pick compared to everything else.
Get owned.
And now we're going to move back to Cass for the next race, race number 9, the Distaff.
Secret Oath.
Yep, Secret
Yeah.
Secret Oath.
I just-
Once again, Cass picked another horse that, well, she didn't win this race last year, but she won the Kentucky Oaks, which is the biggest race for the 3-year-old fillies this year. So, once again, names ending up on live horses.
Subs only.
I went with Malafat, but I pronounced it Malafat.
So that's how I say her name, Malafat.
You say Malafat?
Yeah, I say
So,
Malafat.
yeah, there's some Malafat in here.
If you're curious, the word Malathat is an Arabic word that means beautiful.
Aha. Aha. Your whole pun just crashed and burned.
Using imagination here as to why picks were
My boost order just went
picks
up.
were made. Race
Go get
number
it. Oh, wait,
10,
you
the
have to
turf,
finish.
and back to Cass.
Bye bye Melvin. Because bye bye Melvin.
Bye bye Melvin. And you joke, but what you don't know is that might actually happen because there's a chance he could make every single yard in the race and not look back.
What does that mean?
Lead the entire way.
Good. So he'll take the dub.
And say bye bye to all of them.
I do want to.
So he'll take the dub.
Possibly.
I do want to.
Bye bye Melvin. If you are listening to this,
this entire
do it.
segment, you started talking in like actual racing jargon, and the look me and Cass gave each other was absurd. She looked at me the same time I looked at her, trying to figure out what the hell you just said and what it meant.
Ronnie, can I do my picks?
Yep.
Come on, man. I had Gold Phoenix.
Gold Phoenix.
Gold into Phoenix.
That was completely unplanned, by the way, but I'm glad that I did that because when I speak racing jargon, it's like I'm speaking a different language. And we'll go back to Cass for the final race, the Classic. And shoot, Rachel's not here. I was going to ask Rachel to make a pick in the race.
happy saver.
Happy saver. That's going to be the lifesaver after nothing goes well on Saturday.
I mean, I guess. I'm thinking all my horses are going to take the dub, so.
That's not happening because mine are.
Watch.
Nah, I don't know about that one either.
Well, I also went with Happy Saver, so I am going to reverse that sentence. I believe Happy Saver will come out victorious. I am the smartest man alive, Ethan Albin. This is my exit. I will be galloping away so I can go get my boost order.
And well, I guess before we end this off, I hand the paper back to her for a second. Besides the ones you picked, and just flipping through the paper really quickly, any other names that really speak to you?
Love reigns. Vegas Magic.
Ronnie, didn't you? Oh no, you picked the other Vegas. Right? You picked going to
Meditate.
Vegas.
Going to Vegas, yeah, because if we win, we're all going to Vegas.
Verifying. Oh, I should have picked that one. I like that. Paxawallop. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, Paxawallop.
I'm very busy is a good one too. I like that.
I mean, that speaks to all of us who work at this radio station.
Sterling Silver. Oh, I like that one too. I'm trying to pronounce them in my head. Flotus.
Flotus. Yeah,
I don't know
that's
what
how-
that means, but I like that.
That's the abbreviation for the First Lady.
Pipeline. Tuesday. I like Tuesdays.
Producer on Tuesdays.
I am a producer on Tuesday. American Theorem. I love the Pythagorean theorem, so that makes sense. The Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That is the only math equation. It's the only thing I know how to do in math.
That was so specific.
Okay, let me finish.
You love the Pythagorean theorem. Okay.
Order of... Oh, fuck. No. King Ross. Society. Masterpiece. That's a good one. And on the last one, Life is Good.
Life is good.
That's
Life is good.
That was my pick.
Life is good. Life is good.
All right, and with that being mentioned, like I said, a little bit of the casual thing aside here. This was just a fun thing that I did in the office this week because I've been doing so much for this podcast and this network all week. So we were screwing around in the office. I handed the pick sheet around, and we'll see how this actually ends up working and if these guys end up picking more horses than I do. We'll see you next time on Racing Rundown. We'll see you next week when we're recapping all this.